Sheep are an incredibly diverse species. Did you know that they're more diverse than other domesticated animals like cattle and dogs? Unfortunately, this diversity is decreasing. So in France, there's a reported 95 breeds of sheep. Currently, today, there are only 61 of those breeds still available. So what is diversity and why is it important in agriculture? So to answer these questions, let's first think about DNA. So living animals or living things are made of cells, and within each of these cells is DNA. And the DNA describes what an individual is. So diversity we find when individuals of the same species have differences in their DNA. I'll give you an example. So there are many different breeds of sheep around the world, and I'm going to talk about 3. So there's one in the UK, the North Ronaldsay sheep, and this sheep includes seaweed in part of its diet. There's another breed called the Garol sheep in India, and this breed is known for having many offspring at the same time, many lambs. And the third breed is the Red Maasai sheep, which is found in East Africa. And this breed is known for thriving in arid environments, and it's resistant to parasites. So the amazing differences, physical differences that we see between these breeds actually translate to differences within the DNA. And so these differences are genetic diversity. So the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, monitors diversity in agricultural species. And they do this because this diversity will be key for facing future challenges. And these future challenges include climate change. So by studying the differences between breeds and by studying the differences between the genetics, when we face these future new environments, we can find breeds that we already have that can thrive well in these environments. So today I've mostly spoken about sheep, but what I have said also applies to other agricultural species. So the main take-home message is the same. Protecting diversity today is protecting our food security of tomorrow.
It was a really good example with the different sheep from UK to Africa. And so based on this example, what do you think about the influence on the environment? If you take the sheep from Africa and you put it in UK, is it not going to acquire different specificity over the time?
So we've actually seen the opposite of this example. We've seen some of our Western breeds that produce really well have been moved to Africa. And so we see that they actually don't do very well in these different climates that they haven't been bred in. So what we're seeing in agriculture is they're not preferred, so they're just not used. But we do see that when an animal is taken out of its environment, that it's been there for many, many years, we see that it doesn't do as well. Yes.
Thank you much for your presentation. We traveled around the world. It was so nice, even if it was with black sheep. But I had a question about your research studies and also your action in terms of education. Do you think that it is part of sustainable development involvement coming from you generally? So do you think that it's important to deal with this kind of studies for sustainable development?
I think that it is important for sustainable development, and I think the reason why is because really by studying what makes these animals different from each other, we're studying studying the DNA, we can really keep the things that are important and understand these traits that are important. And so 50 years from now, we can, if we keep maintaining this diversity, we can look back and say, oh, this is a good thing that we kept these breeds around.
So do you think that it's important to tell this to the people here and out of this room, to tell them that it's important to support that kind of knowledge in order to have a sustainable development?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that people know about these studies because a lot of the funding obviously comes from the public. And if they understand this kind of, the importance of this research, then yes. Thank you.